This is KGW News at 11.
An 11th hour agreement means nothing changes for tens of thousands of patients. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Adams. The agreement we're referring to is the one between Legacy Health and Regent's Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now that means Legacy's providers will remain in network for Regent's members. Today was the deadline to make a deal on a new contract between the health system and the insurance provider. The two struggled to reach an agreement for weeks, putting tens of thousands of patients on edge, unsure if they would be able to keep their coverage. Now, Legacy released a statement today saying it's grateful for everyone's patience and that if you have an appointment scheduled, you should still attend. If you cancel during the uncertainty, you should contact Legacy to reschedule. Well, we saw a similar resolution play out back in January involving Regents. On deadline day with Providence Health, the two were able to come to an agreement. That was actually after the contract between them expired. Providence asked for payment increases that Regent said it couldn't afford. That would have impacted more than 200,000 Oregonians.
And then we have these little moments that kind of remind us of the work that's still there for us.
Well, tonight, a court screw-up brings attention to Portland's hosting of the NCAA women's tournament for the wrong reasons. The NCAA now admitting that the three-point lines at the Moda Center have been off for every game played here so far this week. And our Evan Watson joins us now from the newsroom. And Evan, how does this happen?
John, this has a lot of people shaking their heads. Just before the Elite Eight game today, play between the Texas and North Carolina State women's basketball teams, the NCAA realized they had a problem. The three-point lines were different lengths on each half of the court, one longer than the other. The teams, however, agreed to play through it anyway.
A huge moment for Portland, hosting Sweet 16 and Elite Eight games for the women's college basketball tournament, stained by a coat of paint.
I walked in and there was measuring happening, and I was sitting next to a friend who was like, are they measuring the three-point line?
The NCAA says the Moda Center court was marked incorrectly all week. One three-point line longer than the other. Before the Texas-North Carolina State game Sunday, coaches walked it off, and officials even measured the lines with a tape measure. Fearing a delay, throwing off their team, or losing their network TV slot, the coaches decided to play anyway.
Well, I hate to say this, but I have a lot of colleagues that would say only in women's basketball. I mean, it's a shame, really, that it even happened, but it is what it is.
North Carolina State, who advanced to the Final Four, took it in stride. Easier to say after a big win.
Would it have mattered where the three-point line was today?
Not at all, not at all.
They don't shoot at that thing anyway, so it don't matter. I was worried about if our players were going to have to wait an hour to play. I like the fact we could jump out there and play the game.
Both coaches said they don't think it affected the outcome of the game. Teams switched sides at halftime. But plenty of people, like Texas fan and University of Oregon assistant professor Courtney Cox, have questions.
We have this moment where the athleticism is in a place where it's better than it's ever been. We have more focus, more media coverage, the things that these players deserve. And then we have these little moments that kind of remind us of the work that's still there for us.
The NCAA released a statement saying the court will be corrected before tomorrow's Elite Eight game in Portland, adding, while the NCAA's vendor has apologized for the error, we will investigate how this happened in the first place. The NCAA is working now to ensure the accuracy of all court markings for future games. The NCAA regrets the error was not discovered sooner. Cox says she's curious how the players feel about the mess up.
I'm interested from them. Do they feel it was off? Or is it also the mental component, right? Once you know it's not right, is that throwing you off? I feel like that's such an interesting mental component of mind-body connection.
And a big mistake like this one brings natural questions of accountability and equity for the NCAA and the men's and women's tournaments.
The fans are there, the athletes are there, the sport is there, and we really just kind of need everyone else to catch up.
Including the three-point line?
I mean, especially the three-point line, right?
Portland will host the NCAA Women's Final Four in 2030. This error, now getting national attention, is not a great advertisement. But the NCAA is ultimately responsible for this court and says it will investigate what went wrong. John?
All right, Evan, thank you. We'll continue to watch this for any future developments. Thank you. All right, well, this comes on the heels of a disappointing end for the Oregon State women in the NCAA tournament. Even though they weren't able to advance against South Carolina today, fans here in Portland were still excited to see women's basketball at the forefront. Now, we visited one bar hosting a watch party with fans saying this has been one of the best seasons for women's college hoops in quite a while.
I mean, how many years have we seen empty stadiums, bars that won't play women's games? And I think now we're finally seeing that people watch women's sports.
Thousands of eyes were glued to the TV.
And even though the Beavers didn't win today, fans say they definitely held their own in that contest against South Carolina. They're also proud to see both teams showcase the best of the women's game.
It's really nice. We go walking all the time because we have dogs, but it's nice to walk and really enjoy being outside.
Decided that we were going to try to fend off the aging process and get some exercise. So Tabor has a lot of opportunities for that. Considering building a secret treehouse up there.
I would be in to check out that treehouse. Well, no shortage of people enjoying the outdoors during this beautiful Easter Sunday we had today, especially at Mount Tabor. Look at some of those views. Ashley Graham's joining us now. And Ashley, we're heading into the work week. Do we have a chance to break 70 here in the next couple days?
Right, you're crossing your fingers, aren't you, John? You're saying, can we hit that 70-degree mark? I think we can after this absolutely gorgeous weekend that we've had. Let's take a look at some of our high temperatures here. 66 degrees today in Portland, 65 in Vancouver, 66 in Scappoose, 64 in Kelso. No shortage of mid-60s on the board here. Just a bit cooler out there at the coast. 54 in Newport, 57 in Tillamook. So most of us getting a chance to enjoy these this Easter weekend. Just a little bit cooler here on the eastern side of the state in Bend and Central Oregon as well. So like we said, we're going to continue with these temperatures, and we're actually going to see a 3-4 degree increase tomorrow, a 3-4 degree increase the next day as well. So here's your day at a glance tomorrow. You're thinking, what am I going to wear when I get up in the morning? Well, you're heading back into mid-60s and mostly sunshine throughout the day tomorrow. Then the change starts to happen later in the week. So what's next for us? Well, again, we're saying we have a chance to see 70 Monday and Tuesday, but that's going to be our last chance. Temperatures are going to drop on Wednesday. We're going to see a cooler, wetter pattern at the latter half of this week. So the time to get out and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy that sunshine is going to be all the way through Tuesday before we see some rain again. We'll talk about that in your 7-day forecast. John?
All right, Ashley, thank you. Well, Vancouver police are asking for your help finding this mother and her 5-year-old daughter. Lauren and Elena Morin were last seen yesterday. Now, police believe Lauren is suffering from a medical emergency. They may be driving in a red 2015 Mazda CX-5 with Washington plates. If you see either of these two, please call police. And a fight in southeast Portland today ends with one person getting shot and police searching for a suspect. It happened at a gas station at Southeast 84th Avenue in Foster. The suspect took off after shooting the victim, who is expected to survive. No one has been arrested. Well, we continue to learn more surrounding the death of 4-year-old Ariel Garcia. Authorities believe this is video of his mother, Janet Garcia, last Wednesday in Ridgefield, Washington. That's the same day her family in Everett reported her son as missing. Now, court documents say a Clark County Sheriff's deputy responded to a call from someone who didn't want Janet at their home. While the deputy interviewed Janet, it was noted there was blood on her shoes and her shirt. She told the deputy her son had fallen out of bed that morning, but when asked again, she gave an inconsistent and difficult to follow statement, but insisted Ariel had fallen out of bed and hit his head on the floor. She's now booked in the Snohomish County Jail on murder and assault charges. Well, the Estacada Fire District asks you to mind where you throw away your cigarettes. They say that's what caused a brush fire near Columbia Park, which climbed up a large Douglas fir tree. It happened just before 3:45 this afternoon. It took crews less than 10 minutes to get that blaze under control. The fire district says discarded cigarettes are one of the biggest causes of fire.